You've done this once, you can do it 20 more times this year. You can do it 100 more times this year. So few people fall off or stop doing this business after they did a $20,000 profit deal. It makes no sense. Why would you stop? The people that make the most deals happen are the problem solvers. That is how you're going to make the most money in this business. Believe it or not, a lot of people think how are you going to make money buying land 3 hours from Atlanta, Georgia? We do it all the time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Ron Apke. Today I'm by myself, and what we are talking about today is the 7 steps to getting your first land deal. And the reason I wanted to bring this topic up today is because really for people getting started in this business, the biggest gap for them to being successful in general is getting that first deal. There's so many struggles and hurdles and things you need to go through to get your first deal. Yes, some people will get their first deal on their first set of mail or their first set of texts or cold calls or whatever it is. But the majority of people, it is problem solving. It's a lot that goes into just getting your first deal. And once that first deal, the amount of people that are successful after they get that first deal is so high. The fall off comes before people get that first deal. So if people don't have proof of concept, that's when they tend to fall off. If they sent some text and spent a couple $100 on text and it doesn't work out, they don't get a deal from those texts and they fall off. They quit the business. They say the business doesn't work, whatever. If you can get to that first deal, you have proof of concept, you make $20,000, $25,000. Why stop? And that's when you can scale up. Once you get that first deal, it's not that difficult to get 2-3 deals a month and just keep on scaling up. So let's get to it. Like I said, 7 steps, guys. It's not all that complicated. Step number 1 is choosing a market. So you have the entire country. You have a lot of counties. You have 3,000 counties plus, and you need to choose a market to market to. So step number 1 is choosing a market. The most basic way that I can tell you to start choosing a market is by going 2 to 3 counties removed from big cities. And this is going to give you good price range. So if you go, let's just choose Atlanta, for example. You start going 2, 3, 4 counties removed from Atlanta, you're going to have a ton of vacant land. You're not in urban America anymore. You're in rural America where there's so much vacant land. And these are the areas where you offering to buy these sellers' land is so much more valuable. There's less realtors out there. There's just way more opportunity, believe it or not. A lot of people think how are you going to make money buying land 3 hours from Atlanta, Georgia? We do it all the time. We do it all the time from all these big cities, Charlotte, North Carolina, all these big cities. And that's the bare minimum when you're first starting. If there's one thing that I could tell you to do when you're first selecting a market, it is starting 2 to 3, maybe even 4 counties, depending on the area, removed from a major city. This is going to also give you demand. So you got to think you have built-in buyers. You have all those buyers in Atlanta, Georgia, who maybe their dream is to own 10 acres. They can't afford 10 acres right in Atlanta or right outside of Atlanta, but they look 2-3 hours away, and then they see your deal. And those are your buyers. Those are people who are going to buy the land. They're going to go to the land twice a year to go hunt on it or go camp on it, whatever it is. But those are your buyers, and that's what you want to be targeting. So from there, you chose your market. From there, you're going to pull your data. You're going to pull your property records. You're going to get property records, and you're going to send your market. I'm kind of combining these into one. So we use the landportal.com to get our property records. I can put a link in the description below. But we use the landportal.com to get our property records. And then you're sending marketing. So you're reaching out to these sellers. We like to start with a list of 1,500 to 2,000 people. So if you are, let's just stick with the Atlanta market. So if you're 3 counties removed from Atlanta, and you're targeting, let's say you're targeting 2 to 10 acres, 2 to 20 acres. You're going to try to build a list of property records with about 1,500 to 2,000 different owners of land, sellers, potential sellers. So what you're going to do, you're going to get this list and then you're going to market to them. And the marketing is so open-ended with how you want to market. You could just skip trace on the land portal and start cold calling these people. You will eventually get deals. Is it going to take more time? Absolutely. It is way, way cheaper in terms of the marketing, then sending text, then sending direct mail. But those are really the three main marketing methods that we use. Number one for us is direct mail. It is also the most expensive. Number two is texting, and number three is cold calling. And you can cold call using a service, people that cold call for you. You could hire cold callers, or you could do it yourself. If you are just like trying to get into this business and you don't have much marketing money, everything like that, like you might have to pick up the phone, dial 50 people a day, dial 75 people a day, and get deals that way. Going from there, so now you sent the marketing and now you have leads coming in. So you have, I don't know, let's say you sent 1,000 text messages. You might have 20, 30, 50 leads coming in, and now you got to negotiate and try to make deals happen. It's really not that much more complicated than that. Like you need to have a margin, so you need to be buying under market value. Let's say your property's worth, or the property they own is worth $70,000. You need to be getting it under $70,000, ideally $40,000 or $50,000. Maybe you can do an assignment there. Maybe you can do a double close. But this is where you make deals happen, essentially. You're negotiating with the seller. Maybe you're looking at different ways that you can sell the property. Maybe you're looking at assignments or double closing or subdividing. There's so many different strategies with this negotiation part, but you are essentially the people that make the most deals happen are the problem solvers. The seller came to you as an interested seller. Maybe they want more money than you want to buy it for, but trying to figure out a solution that works for you and the seller. That is how you're going to make the most money in this business if you are a problem solver. And okay, this seller wants, maybe the property is worth $70,000. The seller wants $50,000. I can't pay $50,000. That doesn't make sense for me. I can't find funding at that. But you go and try to attack a double close. So you tell the seller, like, listen, I can't get you $50,000 right now, but give me 120 days. I'll find a buyer and we can get you that $50,000. So you get them under contract where you can actually find the end buyer, and then you're going to sell it for 70. They're going to get their 50 and you're going to make $20,000. That's what's called a double close, essentially.
Before we get back to the show, guys, make sure to leave us a comment and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Ron and I read through every single comment individually. It helps us plan our 2025, our topics, what you guys want to hear, and helps us improve the show. It means a lot, guys, and let's get back to the show.
All right, so from there is essentially, so we have choose a market, send marketing, and get your property list. So get your property list, your property records, and send marketing, negotiating with the leads, and then closing a deal. That's essentially going into, okay, you negotiated with the leads. Now you're going to close the deal. However you close it, there's different strategies that go into that, but you're closing the deal. You're buying the property. Let's just say you're buying that $70,000 property for $35,000. You found funding at this stage, so you're closing the deal. You're purchasing it. Now you own that 10 acres, or you and your funding partner own that 10 acres that you bought for $35,000. So going from there, you're going to list the property for sale. You bought it for $35,000 and you're trying to resell it for $60,000, $70,000. When you're listing for sale, the place people struggle the most, there's two reasons people don't sell property, three reasons. Number one is they do not list it in enough places. They only list it on the MLS, or they only list it on Facebook, and you're not getting in front of enough buyers. The other reason people do not sell properties or struggle to sell properties is because they overprice it. This might be the most common one. They think that their property is better than what it is, and they list that $70,000 property for $90,000, and they think there's just no buyers in that area. But in reality, you overpriced it by $20,000. And the third most common reason people struggle to sell properties is they just don't respond to buyers. So you list the property all the right places and you price it for the right price, and then you are not responsive when people are calling you. You're not calling them back. And this is something that you want to be extremely responsive. Like someone's trying to buy a property from you. This isn't an overly common thing. It sounds very basic. Like, yes, someone's calling you interested in your $70,000 property. Call them back. Be responsive. Answer their questions. Help them get to the property if they want to walk the property. And just doing those things help a property sell so much. So if you are listed in all the right places, you're priced accurately and comparably to the market, you're not overpriced, and you're responsive to sellers, your property is going to, or you're responsive to buyers, your property is going to sell more times than not. And then step number 6 is sell the property. Like you listed for sale, you have leads coming in, you got to finish the job and actually sell the property. Maybe you have 5 leads and there's people are negotiating for it, and there's a battle for the property. Like people are making above asking price offers, stuff like that. That happens all the time. If you're marketed correctly, everything like that, and you gotta go with the seller you think that is going to come through, close the deal, everything like that. What you do not want when you're selling a property is for a seller to have a 90-day due diligence period and then they back out at day 85. You have no earnest money. The seller backed out. They never really had real intent. The buyers that fall through are the buyers with high contingencies, long due diligence periods, low earnest money, 95, 97% loans. So they really don't have any money to put down for the property. Those are the buyers that fall out. Mobile home contracts. So essentially it's a land and mobile home together as a loan. Those fall out extremely high percentage. So let me just go over the first 6 real fast, guys. So choose a market, send marketing, get your property list and send marketing, negotiate with the leads, close the deal, list the property for sale, and then sell the property. So that's 6. Step 7 is rinsing and repeating. Essentially, you've done this once, you can do it 20 more times this year. You can do it 100 more times this year. Like continually to do what you're doing. Whatever got you that first deal is going to get you that second, third, fourth, fifth deal. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, the biggest hurdle in this business is getting that first deal. The people who are successful, the people who make it into this, so few people fall off or like stop doing this business after they did a $20,000 profit deal. It makes no sense. Why would you stop? But figuring out, grinding it through, finding a way to get that first deal, sticking to your marketing. Not your marketing is not going to necessarily work your first time. This is a long game in terms of sending texts, doing cold calls, sending direct mail. Like you got to have a marketing plan to get those deals. You got to be responsive with sellers, everything like that. And if things aren't working out, make adjustments and it will work out in the long run. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the subscribe button below. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, share this with a friend, leave us a review. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
As always, thank you for joining. Please do us a huge favor and like and subscribe our YouTube channel and share this with a friend. It really means the world to Ron and I, but more importantly, it could help change the life of someone else. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next episode.